In the preface to the Prolegomena, Kant describes his project and its significance and its relation to prior thinkers. Since Kant is fairly clear in his presentation, I'm going to give you the text of the preface, pausing occasionally for my comments. I'm also going to put my notes up on the screen as I read. Here we go. These prolegomena are not for the use of pupils, but of future teachers, and even the latter should not expect that they will be serviceable for the systematic exposition of a ready-made science, but merely for the discovery of the science itself. There are scholars for whom the history of philosophy, both ancient and modern, is philosophy itself. For these, the present prolegomena are not written. They must wait till those who endeavor to draw from the fountain of reason itself have completed their work. It will then be the turn of such scholars to inform the world of what has been done. Unfortunately, nothing can be said which, in their opinion, has not been said before. And truly the same prophecy applies to all future time, for since the human reason has, for many centuries, speculated upon innumerable objects in various ways, it is hardly to be expected that we should not be able to discover analogies for every new idea among the old sayings of past ages. My object is to persuade all those who think metaphysics worth studying that it is absolutely necessary to pause a moment and, disregarding all that has been done, to propose first the preliminary question, whether such a thing as metaphysics be at all possible. If it is a science, how does it happen that it cannot, like other sciences, obtain universal and permanent recognition? If not, how can it maintain its pretensions and keep the human understanding in suspense with hopes never ceasing yet never fulfilled? Whether then we demonstrate our knowledge or our ignorance in this field, we must come once for all to a definite conclusion respecting the nature of this so-called science, which cannot possibly remain on its present footing. It seems almost ridiculous, while every other science is continually advancing, that in this which pretends to be wisdom incarnate, for whose oracle everyone inquires, we should constantly move round the same spot without gaining a single step. And so, its supporters having melted away, we do not find that men who are confident of their ability to shine in other sciences venture their reputation here, where everybody, however ignorant in other matters, presumes to deliver a final verdict, inasmuch as, in this domain, there is as yet no standard weight and measure to distinguish soundness from shallow talk. After all, it is nothing extraordinary in the elaboration of a science when men begin to wonder how far it has advanced, that the question should at last occur as to whether and how in general such a science is possible. Human reason so delights in constructions that it has several times built up a tower and then raised it to examine the nature of the foundation. It is never too late to become reasonable and wise, but if the insight comes late, there is always more difficulty in starting the change. The question whether a science be possible presupposes a doubt as to its actuality, but such a doubt offends the man whose entire goods may perhaps consist in this supposed jewel. Hence, he who raises the doubt must expect opposition from all sides. Some, in the proud consciousness of their possessions, which are ancient and therefore considered legitimate, will take their metaphysical compendia in their hands and look down on him with contempt. Others, who never see anything except it be identical with what they have somewhere else seen before, will not understand him, and everything will remain for a time as if nothing had happened to excite the concern or the hope for an impending change. Nevertheless, I venture to predict that the independent reader of these prolegomena will not only doubt his previous science, but ultimately be fully persuaded that it cannot exist unless the demands here stated, on which its possibility depends, be satisfied, and, as this has never been done, that there is as yet no such thing as metaphysics. But as it can never cease to be in demand, since the interests of human reason in general are intimately interwoven with it, he must confess that a radical reform, or rather a rebirth of the science according to a new plan, is unavoidable, however much men may struggle against it for a while.